Greetings, Light Tribe. Janine Palmer here, Spirit Silver Moon, Sacred Sessions with Harmony Energy Healing. Today I'm doing a video about self-loathing. And I'm sharing information from a friend who shared this with me, and I would like to share this with some other perspectives of things for awareness. This may or may not have to do with drinking, okay, or any other way that we numb or escape different things. So this particular individual is able to be very honest with himself and others about things he struggles with or has struggled with, and who is making great strides to overcome things, to release things, to move beyond things. And it's been my experience. So what I'm doing is just sharing some of my experiences, and these are just observations from my limited perspective in an ongoing effort of trying to understand these, okay, and then share what I learn for whatever that's worth, or for any way in which it might be helpful, and I don't know what that is. So I have had people come into my life as friends, and you recognize something in someone, and you engage in conversations, and you learn from each other, okay? And then, but things are always changing. And if you notice something's changing in a way that it can't be, shouldn't be for you, because you're the one who's deciding that, it goes in a particular energy or something, and you might try to communicate it, but that might not be working. So when energies change and the way they're directed at you, you have to change the way you respond or react, and what your boundaries are, setting them, increasing them, strengthening them, whatever. And people kind of teach us this, right? And the sooner we learn it, the better. We teach people how to treat us by what we'll accept, tolerate, whatever, into our space. And sometimes when we decide not to accept it, then we get a little kind of attack session going on. So my one friend went through a terrible hardship and loss in his life, as so many of us do. It's part of Earth School. And people get reclusive, and people get into habits sometimes. And so this particular individual was starting to open to things. Actually, I met him because he was reading some of my work, my poetry stuff, the messages there, and said that they were starting to open him, and that he found them helpful or whatever. So it's interesting how people can begin to discuss things, philosophy, religions, life, whatever it is, and you can see that they have a thirst for knowledge like you do or whatever, and they're learning this and sharing that with you. Oh, I hadn't heard about that, thanks, and vice versa, and it's kind of a cool thing, whatever that is. Whatever it means to the individual is what I guess I should say. So, however, when people maybe are drinking, or maybe they're even on pharmaceuticals to try to cope, mask, numb, hide from, deal, whatever. When people are in an energy of where they're drinking, or they might just be caught up in their thought forms, programs, and they get in a different energy. It's a lower vibrational energy. It might be a negative energy, okay, where certain behaviors come out and you're like, what, am I in junior high school here? I mean, what the hell? As far as, and no offense against that, but what I'm saying is when a full-grown adult is acting childish is what I'm talking about. It's when we go back to certain behavior patterns that don't serve us, but we don't seem to see that when we're in them or whatever. Okay, so there were certain behaviors, actions, lashing out, whatever they were, that a person has to say, or I did, no, I'm not a babysitter, is what I said. I'm not going to put up with that. You can talk to me when you're going to be in a more respectful, higher vibrational energy. It's not that I don't care about an individual, but you don't need to bring that stuff into my space. In other words, what are you going to allow into your space, right? And with other friends, similarly, some people get in their habits and patterns and programs that they might not realize that they're running. And it's because of, oftentimes because of old wounds, emotional wounds, mental things, whatever, that it's thought forms. They're thought forms. And so when we run a program, that program is fed by the thought loops we continually replay. And sometimes when we speak to people, more mature people, we might notice that they say the same stuff over and over again. As far as, now sometimes we're working through something because we haven't gotten through the releasing that pain, right? And that's why we keep repeating, because we're still stuck on it. I'm sure we all do that to some degree through life, you know. But anyway, noticing with another person, or other people rather, that they keep harping on the same stuff about other people. And it's a type of a, okay, there's observations, but there's also a type of judgment when you're putting it down, when you're finding fault with it, and when you can't let it go. And every time you talk to the person, it's the same thing over and over again. They're talking about the same negative loops over and over and over again. Okay, so you can decide whether you're going to have that in your space, because you might deliver a message and say, hey, you know, do you realize you're focusing on something negative? And they might not really be hearing you, and they still can't stop because they're feeding the program. Okay, you have to leave them where they are, as I said. The other thing is people, some people blow things out of proportion. Some people know it, some people don't. Overreacting, whatever you want to call it. What people do because they want to be heard and seen. They want or need attention or whatever it is. I don't really know. But they have perspectives, which, remember, are always limited perspectives, that they maybe glom onto, they believe, they might blow it out of proportion. They might carry it around like this big bag of freaking shit that's this big burden that they kind of created, and they're carrying it around. And then whoever they attach to that, then they want to send negative energy to that person, or talk shit about that person, or be nasty to that person. So like, I've had situations where people have, and I do a lot of work on Messenger, where friends have come through in a really nasty energy. It's a lower vibrational, snarky, cynical, negative, nasty, provoking energy. Okay. And so sometimes I have to block people. And guess what? It's not because I don't care about them. It's because I cannot, will not tolerate that in my space. It's something that's not about me, but it's directed at me. And, or sometimes people then try to make things about you. It's about projections, projecting people's issues at other people, projecting their issues at other people, or whatever. If that someone isn't doing or being what another person wants or expects or whatever, then they might become a target, okay? And there are jealousies, whether they're recognized or not, about what people do, okay? Whenever someone's judging something you do, where is the judgment coming from? Where is it coming from? Could be jealousies, could be unhealed wounds, could be ego, could be those negative thought forms. I don't know. All I know is that I have had to block to keep it out of my space. And it doesn't mean I'm unkind. It doesn't mean I'm not compassionate. It doesn't mean I don't care. Okay, I'm trying to send a message of setting boundaries, because I had to learn the hard way about setting boundaries. We can let people piss all over us, you know, walk all over us, kick mud all over us, throw tar at us. We can let it happen, or we can decide not to. We can say no. No thanks. I'm returning that gift to you. That's not mine. It's not meant for me, and it's not allowed in my space. So this video was about self-loathing, alcohol. So my one friend said he had self-loathing. And I said, honor yourself for your honesty with yourself and with me, by the way. He realizes he had self-loathing, and so he would drink, and that would just make it worse. Okay? And when we can come out of that, when we are that warrior that has conquered that, and we can come out of that, people around us notice it, and they're so grateful to see their loved ones in better energetic vibration. Okay, so this is about self-loathing. This is about numbing with substance, whether it's alcohol, drugs, pharmaceuticals, thought forms, judgment, whatever it is that people hide from their own stuff, projecting issues. Oh, and I did a video the other day because it says that, like, empaths, a lot of people are very empathic. They feel stuff, and that's hard for them to feel other people's stuff, anxiety, pain, emotions. That has to be terribly challenging. Okay, so empaths attract narcissists, which supposedly is a type of sociopathic behavior, whatever that is. I don't like labels, but you might see people that have some of these qualities, and you might have lived with them for years before you even knew what they were called. Okay, so, but like I heard one lady say, oh, they don't have a conscience. I don't agree with that. I've seen people that are very giving, loving people who absolutely do have a conscience, but they still have their wounds, and their wounds come out in these ways. Okay, these are qualities: the projecting of the issues, the deflecting responsibility, the sarcastic, the stuff they won't face, and they try to hang it on somebody else. Okay, so what I've noticed is, guess what? The empath doesn't only draw in narcissists. Sometimes the empath has those qualities as well. Sometimes that person is both an empath and, I don't even want to use the word narcissist, but I'm talking about when someone just bends over backwards to try to avoid taking responsibility for anything. They will not admit it. They twist things, and they turn around and they deflect it at you, and you can see it happening. I don't know if they see that they're doing it. They are masters at it. But I have been around it enough that I can recognize it now. I know exactly what's going on. The only thing I can do from that is to disengage. Big boundaries. Thank God for the blocking button. Do you know why? Because stuff would come over my messenger in snarky, nasty, provoking, lower vibrational fuckery. Okay? That most of the time, sometimes we just, I would say, we don't deserve it. And that's when we have to decide whether we want to feel hurt and battered and bombarded. Because, you know, we can choose to not take that on. We're not taking that shit on. Therefore, why should we allow it in our space? Okay? Because when someone's in a lower vibrational energy, they're kind of trying to bring you down to their level, right? And sometimes it does. Sometimes it makes us feel sad and upset and hurt. And that's the energy they pick up on. That's the energy they feed off of. It is disgusting. So you get to choose what you're going to allow in your space. And if you live with the person, you just have to create your own space, find out what it is. Don't allow yourself to be engaged in it. When they draw you in, they take your energy. Whether you're in person or in the same room, whether you're on the phone, whether you're on Messenger, okay? They provoke and you react. Energy vampire, okay? So when you don't react, you don't give it your energy, you don't give it your power, you stay in your power. So it's all a bloody test, okay? If those people can find some healing, and hopefully they do, and hopefully they can be honest with themselves and admit some shit to themselves, because once you admit it, then you can move beyond it and stop resisting everything. If a person can come to a level of healing to a degree that they can come into your space with respect and honor, that's great. But if they can't, you have to say goodbye. So self-loathing, does it serve you? Do you really need to loathe yourself for anything? Because everything is designed for you to learn from it. So you take the lesson and you go into a level of forgiveness to forgive yourself. You don't need to hate yourself. You didn't come here to hate yourself for anything. Some things are more challenging than others, but at some point we are challenged to understand what we learned from it and to forgive ourselves and others, okay? To let yourself off the hook and stop holding things against yourself. Because is it really serving you? Is it hurting other people around you that you care about? then maybe it's not serving you or them. So that's the purpose for this little video is releasing self-loathing. And let's treat our brothers and sisters with kindness and respect and compassion. Let's stop trying to bring people down and then kick them when they're down. Because guess what? We're only doing it to ourselves as well. Peace.